Meet Anya. She's not your average teenager, though at first glance you might think so. She's got a quick smile, a love for the outdoors, and a spark in her eyes that hints at something more. At 19, Anya lives in a small, close-knit town where everyone knows each other's names. Her days are filled with the simple joys of youth, like arguing with her mischievous cat, Mittens, over who gets the last slice of pizza, or binge-watching her favorite shows late into the night. But beneath the surface, Anya is anything but ordinary. Her real superpower isn't invisibility or flying, it's her phone. Like so many in her generation, she's always connected, always scrolling, always ready to capture a moment or share a thought with the world. One evening, as she scrolled through her feed, a video caught her eye. Her local river, once a place of childhood memories, now choked with pollution from a nearby factory. The water was murky, tinged with an unnatural green, and fish floated lifelessly on the surface. Most people might have just kept scrolling, maybe felt a pang of sadness, and moved on. But not Anya. Something inside her clicked, a mix of anger, hope, and determination. She grabbed her phone, marched down to the riverbank, and filmed a TikTok with the sickly green water behind her. In her video, she didn't just complain, she called out the pollution, challenged the factory, and urged her viewers to care. Using a trending sound and clever captions, she crafted her message to be both urgent and relatable. She hit post, expecting maybe a handful of friends to see it, maybe a few comments or likes. But overnight, something incredible happened. Her phone buzzed non-stop as her video exploded to 1 million views. Comments poured in from strangers, some local, some from halfway across the world. Suddenly, Save Anya's River was trending. Local news stations reached out for interviews, and her story became the talk of the town. People she'd never met were sharing her video, tagging friends, and demanding answers from the factory. The movement didn't stop there. People from around the world stitched her video, sharing their own stories of polluted rivers and environmental neglect. Anya's message had sparked a global conversation. The factory, now facing a digital uproar and mounting public pressure, quickly announced a cleanup plan. Crews arrived at the river, and for the first time in years, real change seemed possible. Anya didn't just help save a river, she proved that one voice, amplified by technology, can inspire thousands to take action. She showed what happens when Gen Z combines their tech skills with a fierce sense of justice. This isn't just Anya's story, it's the story of a generation that refuses to be silent. For Gen Z, phones aren't just for selfies. They're megaphones for change, tools for organizing, and bridges to connect with others who care. Gen Z doesn't wait for someone else to fix things. They use their creativity, their networks, and their voices to create movements and solutions themselves, often faster and louder than anyone expects. That's the power of Generation Z, bold, connected, and unafraid to stand up for what matters. And Anya, she's just getting started. Gen Z, born between the late 90s and early 2010s, are true digital natives, growing up in a world where technology is as natural as breathing. From their earliest memories, smartphones, social media, and instant connectivity have been part of daily life. For this generation, the digital world isn't a separate space. It's seamlessly woven into everything they do, from learning and socializing to activism and creativity. They move effortlessly between online and offline worlds, connecting with friends across continents and collaborating on projects in real time, no matter where they are. Growing up fluent in tech, Gen Z can organize, mobilize, and amplify their voices at lightning speed, using digital tools to spark real-world change. But it's not just about mastering technology. Gen Z is also the most diverse generation in history, shaped by a global perspective and a deep appreciation for different cultures and identities. For them, diversity isn't just a buzzword or a goal to strive for. It's the foundation of their everyday reality and the standard they expect from the world around them. This unique blend of digital fluency and inclusivity makes Gen Z naturally empathetic, open-minded, and quick to support one another, whether online or in person. Having come of age during economic uncertainty, climate crises, and movements for social justice, they've developed a keen radar for injustice and inequality. Gen Z doesn't just notice problems, they feel a deep sense of responsibility to take action, whether it's cleaning up their communities or brainstorming solutions for bigger issues. For them, values like fairness, inclusion, and justice aren't distant ideals. Their instincts that guide their choices and shape their vision for the future. When faced with a challenge, their first thought isn't, "Who will fix this?" but, "How can we fix this together?" They believe in collective action and shared responsibility. For Gen Z, this mindset is more than just a trend. It's a new operating system for change, driving them to lead, innovate, and build a better world for everyone. Gen Z isn't just about TikTok dances and selfies. Beneath the memes, they're using tech to drive real change. Social media is their rallying cry. Hashtags become movements in hours. They use crowdfunding to support disaster victims and struggling businesses, turning small donations into lifelines. They're citizen journalists, breaking down complex issues into digestible threads and carousels. Fact-checking and sharing reliable info is second nature. They learn skills on YouTube, build networks on LinkedIn, and launch businesses from their bedrooms. Gen Z isn't waiting for traditional paths. They're forging their own. For them, technology is a ladder for opportunity and a megaphone for justice. They're democratizing philanthropy and education, one post at a time. The digital world is their platform for impact. Climate change is Gen Z's rallying cause. They've grown up with the consequences, so they're not waiting for someone else to act. Inspired by activists like Greta Thunberg, millions have joined global climate strikes, organized almost entirely online. Their digital savvy turns frustration into coordinated worldwide action. Gen Z's consumer choices are shifting markets. Brands now scramble to prove their green credentials. They thrift, upcycle, and champion plant-based diets, making sustainability cool and accessible. They're not just talking about change, they're living it daily. Small actions, multiplied by millions, create a cultural shift. Gen Z is voting for a greener future, with their wallets and their voices. They're the planet's most passionate protectors. Gen Z has a sharp sense of fairness, shaped by growing up in a world where injustice is visible and impossible to ignore. From a young age, they've learned to question the status quo and demand better for themselves and others. Their tolerance for injustice is incredibly low. When they see unfairness, they don't just accept it. They speak out, organize, and push for change, refusing to let silence be an option. They see inequality, whether it's racial, gender-based, or economic, not as facts of life to be endured, but as urgent problems that demand solutions and collective action. Their activism is broad and intersectional, spanning movements like Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ+ rights, climate justice, and more. They understand that these struggles are connected and must be addressed together. They organize rallies, lead workshops, and educate their peers in classrooms and online spaces, empowering others to join the fight for justice. With smartphones in hand, they live stream protests, create viral advocacy content, and use social media to amplify marginalized voices, reaching audiences far beyond their local communities. They create safe digital spaces for queer youth and other marginalized groups, offering support, solidarity, and a sense of belonging that many can't find elsewhere. Whenever they encounter discrimination, whether online or in their neighborhoods, they challenge it head-on. For Gen Z, inclusivity isn't just a value, it's a necessity for a just society. They're also tackling economic inequality and mental health, breaking down stigmas, sharing resources, and making sure no one is left behind in the conversation about well-being. Gen Z uses their platforms, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or community meetings, to support, educate, and advocate for the well-being of everyone, not just themselves. For them, social justice is about compassion as much as policy. They know that real change comes from empathy, listening, and lifting each other up. They're building a world where everyone can belong, where diversity is celebrated, and where every voice matters. Their fight is for dignity, equality, and support for all. Because Gen Z believes that fairness isn't just an ideal, it's a right everyone deserves. Gen Z sees success differently, less about money, more about meaning and impact. They value work-life balance, creative side hustles, and jobs that align with their values. Experiences matter more than possessions. They've seen the old model fail and want something better. Gen Z trusts individuals and communities over big institutions. They crowdsource ideas, value every voice, and build consensus online. Leadership is about service, not authority. Their collaborative, networked approach is reshaping companies and movements. This mindset is more adaptable and inclusive, key for solving today's complex problems. Gen Z's worldview is changing how we define success and leadership. So, what's next? Gen Z is already reshaping society, one post, protest, and purchase at a time. The message: don't stop. Your energy and impatience with injustice are needed. Keep questioning, connecting, and mobilizing. Don't let anyone tell you you're too young or too radical. Your voice and actions matter more than you know. To everyone else, listen, support, and make space for Gen Z's vision. Their fight is for a better future for all of us. The story of Gen Z is still being written, and it's a story of resilience and innovation. Keep pushing, keep dreaming. The next chapter is yours to write. Make it a great one.